2004 graduate with a degree in marketing, and he is the owner of Eagle Packaging Products. And then we also have Jennifer Linguini, I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Linguini. That's okay.
Excuse me. She is a 2003 graduate in criminal justice and is now the owner of Purely You Spa, also a real estate agent.
I just have to make a little correction.
Sure.
It's 2004 and it was psychology.
Oh.
I don't know what happened.
Well, our system says 2003, so I apologize.
Okay.
And I will we'll start with Liz. Liz, if you could give us a little background of your career, what happened from when time you graduated from FGCU to where you are now, and what you're up to in your business.
So actually before graduating, I worked for my father's residential painting company, and I actually painted while I was going to college for my accounting degree. And that'll bring it full circle when I talk about what I'm doing now. And then I said, you know what, Dad, I'm out of the construction and the industry. I'm going to work at a CPA firm and I'm going to love it. And that's what I'm going to do.
How did you say?
And then I did that for 2 years, but I didn't like it. So I tried the office manager position, account manager position at different companies. And I actually went back to painting in the field because I was like, you know what, I need a break. I really need to kind of think stuff through. And the place I was working at had somebody quit abruptly in the office and needed the help. So I said, okay, I'll do it part-time. And then I got roped back in and remembered how much I loved the numbers. And so the opportunity came up to be controller for service contracting. And I applied for the position, started working here. And we're actually a really neat company in the fact that I'm a 4th generation owner, but it's not family owned. Our employees, the first owner was an employee, he sold to a different set of employees, and I'm the 4th set of employees the company has been sold to. So my partner, Bert, and I actually own the largest commercial painting and waterproofing company in the Southeast region of the United States. So my never say never is for real. Don't say. So yeah, so that's why I always mention that I painted while I was in college, and now here we are.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. And I know we certainly see service contracting solution trucks all over campus. So thank you for all that you do. Andrew, if you would also give us a little bit of a background of how you ended up with Eagle Packaging.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I graduated in 2004 with a degree in marketing, and I initially interned with a pharmaceutical company up in Chadsford, Pennsylvania, and I worked in the pharmaceutical industry as a sales rep for almost 15 years, 14 years to be exact, and just needed a career change, needed to get out of the corporate world, and had the opportunity to be a co-owner in Eagle Packaging, a local packaging and shipping company here in Naples. I also do the sales and marketing for Eagle Packaging. And so it's been kind of from pharmaceutical sales to packaging solutions is kind of a, 180, but absolutely love, what I do now. Like I said, we've been in business since 1989. We do a lot of retail packaging, shipping, packaging, promotional products, eco-friendly packaging. And we work with a whole bunch of different industries ranging from country clubs, restaurants, industrial, as well as Ms. Jennifer and her Purely You Spa. So we work with a whole lot of different industries, and I love what I do. And the fact that I can work wherever I have an internet connection and wherever I have, as long as I bring my computer. So that's a little bit about my career path.
Thank you, Andrew. And then Jennifer, if you also give us a little bit of a background from how you got started in your career.
Okay. Well, basically, I went to Florida Gulf Coast University and I studied psychology. And when I was going to school, I actually got very sick when I was in school. And I had a tumor that was intertwined through my calf in my leg. And what happened was I basically had to, really do a lot of soul searching. And so I got some treatment for my leg. They actually misdiagnosed me with cancer, and I had to have parts of 3 muscles removed in my leg. I had to learn how to walk again, so it was pretty devastating. But long story short, I developed acne, and this is really what got me into skincare. I wanted to clear my own skin. So with the treatment that I got for my leg, and I developed this acne. And so I wanted to find the best products, the best ingredients, and so that's what got me into getting my skincare license. And then that's ultimately over time is how I ended up opening Pure Leaf Spa, which is the premier certified organic spa in Naples. And I did get my bachelor's at Florida Gulf Coast University, which I'm very thankful for. So even though I had the obstacle when I was in college, I still pushed through. I had a great training there at FGCU, and I'm really happy that I have that background because it really helps me to be able to understand people from all walks of life and why people make certain choices and why they don't, So anyway, it really allows me to help people on a lot of different levels.
Awesome. Thank you. Liz, I have a question for you. In times, especially in these crazy times we're living in right now, what has been your biggest challenge for keeping your business afloat?
So I think as the leader of the company, we have to constantly be thinking about the vision and where our company's going to go in 5 to 10 years and looking forward. And while you plan for how good it could be, you also have to plan for negative things that could happen. And you have to plan for how you could draw back and do those things. So I think all that planning that goes into things that may never happen, and that you hope will never happen, but you plan for those anyway, I think is a huge part, in just keeping the business going, and is having those, sometimes you look at it and say, you're just being pessimistic. It's for me, it's more about, are you prepared, and making good decisions so that these things do happen, and getting everybody on board for that. So I think that is one of the harder things, I think.
Thank you for sharing. Andrew, maybe do you have any response to that? Do you have any of some challenges that you have faced to keep your business afloat during these times?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, being, in sales and marketing, the stigma is people, salespeople are always go, it's about the sale. And it's truly in these times, it's about building the relationship with your customers, for the long term. That's the key. That's key, not only for the times we're in now, but also for the future of your business, to sustain your current customers, but to also, bring new customers in and to have them as long-term customers. So I think the biggest thing for me and Eagle Packaging is really to reach out to our customers and to see how they're doing, to see, if there's anything that we can do to assist them in the times that we're in, and all, continue to build that relationship and show them that we are there for them when they do need us.
I guess going off of that too, do you have any advice for building that client base?
Relationships, and being in sales, it's relationship, networking, being a salesperson, I do, some cold calls, which I know kind of a lost art, but again, relationship, and utilizing those relationships is key to growing your business. You're always going to have, whether you're starting a business or you're gaining an established business, you're going to have that customer base there. And it's just utilizing those customers to see where, they might have any contacts that you can utilize to grow the business as well. So again, it goes back to relationships, whether it's with new customers or existing customers.
I see, Liz, I see you shaking your head. Do you have anything to add?
I agree with Andrew. The relationship building is huge. And I think if you look at when you're building those relationships, that you should look at how you can help the other person and not just how that relationship can benefit you. And if you're looking for ways to help them, they will look for ways to help you. So if they notice that you're the type of person who's constantly wanting to grow, meet people, and you're always talking about improving yourself, improving your business, improving, and then they're going to be happy to introduce you to other people. And you can, you can build that network of people that share in the same values as you do. And I think, that's when Andrew was talking about just the relationship building and how important it is and how important it has been to get us through these times. I would agree. It's been huge.
You know, Carrie, the other thing is it's not always about the bottom line. Yes,
Mhm.
we always look at, our balance sheet and, our financials. It's not always about the balance sheet. It's, it's the long-term commitment, long-term growth. And by building these relationships, that will come, down the road. So another little caveat there.
Yeah, for sure.
And Jennifer, do you have any advice on developing a client base in addition to what these two already said?
Yeah, well, I really think it's important to pound the pavement, and that's something that I really did a lot in the beginning is just get out and meet people. I understand it's a little tough now with the whole COVID situation, but I really think that setting up times and even doing several Zoom meetings with people that you haven't connected with or people that you have relationships with and really working together, being creative as far as how you can help each other. I think Andrew touched on that, and that's really key, and that's really what will help everybody is working together and helping each other.
Now let's kind of switch gears here. I'll start with Liz. How did your college experience at FGCU help shape you in your profession? Did it prepare you, or what did not prepare you? What obstacles did you overcome while you were in school?
So I had a really different college experience because I had my first daughter when I was 18 and my second daughter when I was 21. So I had kids while I was a kid. So my whole college experience was different than most. But I do think that once that having kids at the same time as going to college kind of prepared me for that multitasking, really organizing my time well. Um, and I do think that FGCU provided me a really good foundation to put building blocks. And when I realized that your college education doesn't give you everything you need to know, and there's things that you need to further develop yourself and further learn once you're out of college, that's when I really started to grow. So I do think that college is a really great foundation. It teaches us all kinds of things, but specifically like, hey, here's how you can find information. Here's how you can gain knowledge. Here are different ways, building relationships, networking, all those things. But we have to remember that once we get into the workplace, there's so much more than what's in a textbook. And we just got to go find that information.
Awesome. And I guess for Andrew, if you were to do it all over again, how would you handle your college experience? Would you do anything differently coming out of college?
That's funny. Doing it all over. I couldn't even think about going back to college after graduating so many years ago. So I think times have changed. But if I had to do it all over again, I was very involved on campus life. I was in student government. I was in charge of student activities. I did the tours for not only for the admissions office, but one of our previous presidents, President Merwin. So I was actively involved with campus. So that part of that college life that provided me, which I'm very grateful for because I met a lot of friends. So to answer your question, what would I do over again? I know this is kind of, I really don't think I would do anything over again because, you learn in your classes. I came in as a marketing major, never switched my major, left as a marketing major. You learn your things, like Liz said, from the textbook, and then, you apply that once you get your job. But by me doing what I did on my college career really helped me and helped, learning those concepts in a book, but also bringing them to life. So I don't think I'd really, change anything in my college, experience. I had a great time at FGCU, learned a lot, met lifelong friends, and even more, I met my wife. So, FGCU not only brought me my education, but it brought, I got my wife out of the deal too. So, kind of the whole gamut there.
Awesome. And Jennifer, going off of that, how have the skills you learned both inside and outside of the classroom translated to your current role?
Well, I think the biggest thing is how it helped me to be resourceful and also to research and not just settle on one piece of information. I feel like that was very, very important with going through life's journey. And I just learned so many skills when I was in college, and not only obviously the psychology background, but it was being able to multitask and time block and about balance and what it does to your life and productivity if you're out of balance. It's just you can't even believe all the things that you have to juggle as a college student. And I think that being a mother now of two babies, basically, it it's so different, but yet it's somewhat similar because when you're in college, you're juggling extracurricular activities and jobs and friends and all of that. And then when afterwards, it's juggling family and work and big picture types of things, but it's always juggling. And so being able to multitask productively and efficiently. Yeah.
Awesome. So now I know we have quite a few students on here, so let's give them some advice. Liz, if you were to hire an FGCU grad, what qualities or what would you be looking for in a student that you would be looking to hire?
So our core values in our company are our unbeatable team, professional pride, and commitment to growth. And so what we really look for is somebody who's going to fit our team. And we have a pretty long interview process. We actually go through 4 different interviews before we hire somebody on, because we want to make sure that it's a good fit for them and it's a good fit for us. So what we really look for is for somebody who knows what their strengths and their weaknesses are and what are some of the things that they need to work on. And everybody says, well, they always ask about your strengths and weaknesses, but we like to talk about it as, what is one thing that you would need help with and that you wouldn't be afraid to ask for help, and how would you ask for help, and how have you handled a situation where you struggled and you needed guidance to get through it? Because the reality is that we feel really strongly that it takes a team to make everything happen. So I feel especially lucky because my partner, he is the sales of the team and I'm the finance brain, right? So he's in charge of our sales team and I'm in charge of finance and operating and operations. And I think his weaknesses are my strengths and my weaknesses are his strengths. So we don't look at someone's weakness as a bad thing. We just look for where they would fit in our team. And I think someone just being really self-aware, understanding the things that they want to work on and want to work through and what their goals are is a huge thing that, we look for.
Thank you. And I'll ask Andrew and Jennifer both this question as well. What qualities do you look for when someone that you're graduating or someone that you're looking to hire if you're looking to hire an FGCU grad?
I'll go. So I would look for graphic design. I actually hired several FGCU students, and one of them is still with me. She's been with me for about 5 years, and she's just amazing. But graphic design is huge. That's one of the things that she provides. Marketing experience and also public relations. Being able to write a press release, being able to sell or recommend, and being confident with yourself over the phone and in person. So creativity is also key, and positivity, and being able to work well in a team.
Andrew, do you have any qualities that you look for in our graduates?
Absolutely. I mean, I think Liz and both Jen, I'll echo a little bit, I'll definitely agree with what both of them said, but, to add on to that, being in the sales environment, being a small company, is working in a team, being able to adapt to situations on the fly. Every day is not going to be the same. And being positive and, being in the sales and marketing arena, being able to accept failure. I look at being, whether it was my pharmaceutical days or what I'm doing now, I look at failure as a success. To me, that's not the end game. It's an opportunity, it's an objection where you have to dig deeper and kind of find out what the situation is to uncover and to solve that problem. So creativity, problem solving, and being able to, public speaking is huge, in sales and marketing. So those are the kind of things that we look at, when we're hiring. We are only 4 people in our office, so we are a very small business. And I've been with the business for 5 years, and I'm the newest one there. So everybody else has been there for, 20, 20 plus years. So I'm kind of the young cat on the team.
Awesome. So before we open it up to questions from the audience, any last piece of advice that you would give to our students who are maybe entering the workforce soon? Liz, do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with that one.
Yeah.
I think the best thing is, towards the end of your, maybe junior, senior year, is definitely to do an internship in the area that you'd like to focus your career on. I couldn't, I can't, stress that enough. An internship is huge. That will help you determine, if that's really the career path you want to go into. Granted, you can change your career path once you get out there, but it becomes more difficult as time goes by. So I definitely would agree, suggest doing an internship in your field. And, speaking to, a lot of FGCU has wonderful resources, from the career development services to your professors within, your field of study, is to really pick their things too. Utilize them as a resource. Just don't utilize the book and then when you're done with the class, put the book on your bookshelf. Really utilize them and say, hey, what kind of tools do I need? What kind of skills do I need? What should I look for? While I've been in this class, what do you suggest is a good avenue for me to go to, or, go down, seeing, what my work, how I've done in this class. So I think it's, huge to utilize all the resources and you have there on campus, but also to, use the services like career development services to help you get that internship.
I'm going to echo with Andrew as well. I think the internship piece is huge. And I think this goes back to what we were talking about before, just building those relationships, realizing that the university has these great assets and teachers who are willing to have these conversations and build those relationships with students to help them figure out what's next and what are good avenues to go. So I agree with that as well. Something I mentioned before, just self-awareness. Think about the things that are important to you and knowing what you're looking for when you go to work somewhere. Is it important that they care about the environment? Is it important that the company does whatever, or is family time important? Know what's important to you so that no matter where you go work, you already have that in your forefront and you're already thinking about that as you're going through the interview process.
Jennifer, do you have anything to add?
I do, yes. Another thing that I'd like to add would be developing some key questions for the people that you look up to, your role models, people that are doing what you want to do, and then ask them questions like what do you do in a typical day? What are some obstacles, just so you can have a really behind the scenes understanding of those types of industries that you're interested in. And then that way you could be well prepared. And I love what Andrew said about internships. It's huge. I think that was very beneficial to me in my career, and actually like pivoting a little bit too. So it's really important to do that. Also, you want to try to find 3 unique selling points about yourself. So you want to start to develop those while you're in school. So that could be anything like a creative component that you bring to the team, or something that sets you apart from obviously others that are applying for positions. So you really want to start thinking of how to sell yourself.
Thank you.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jen.
Thanks.
Awesome. And we'll open it up to the floor. Does anyone have any questions for our panelists? Feel free to either unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can type it in the chat.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm considering doing a minor in marketing. I'm a software engineering major. Is it worth it to do like a minor that's something that you're interested in that might be like radically different than your major? Like, does that have a benefit or?
Oh, can I answer that? I would highly encourage for everybody in the world to study marketing also. You can never go wrong with that. And there was a question on what you sent to me, Kara, about what I would do different. I would actually have taken some marketing classes while in college instead of learning through experience and that kind of thing. But I would highly encourage you and everyone to study marketing also.
I agree.
I guess I got it right. I have a marketing degree, so thanks for the advice. Looks like Sam asked a question in the chat. He said, what is the one thing you look for in an application that guarantees an interview?
That guarantees a what?
An interview.
I would say experience for me, experience, and I like to see community relations and actually charity work. I like to see unique selling points, what sets them apart. If there's any type of typos or grammatical errors, kind of gets checked, So, really just standing out and displaying efficiency through the resume is really important.
One thing you said, Jennifer, that really stuck out to me that I thought was true was that you're looking for those 3 talking points, and you've mentioned that a couple of times, and I think that's a really good thing, because you want those things to stand out from everyone else. And how is this person different than the rest of the, because you've got probably a stack of, I don't know, maybe 10 to 100 resumes depending on the position you're looking for. And for me, it's always, how is this person different? What is their approach? And I'm with you on the other piece you said. If there are grammatical errors or typos or anything like that, I'm out, because I feel like you have a lot of time and you have a lot of resources at the university to help you get your resume looking pristine. And that is the representation of yourself. So if you can't get that piece, if you can't represent yourself well, how will you represent our company well? So that's also a big one for me.
And I want to add to that too. Thank you, Liz. I also want to add, if you are serious about a position, if you follow up in an effective way, that really also stands out. So you don't want to be too much, but you want to kind of have a happy medium there. And you can mail, you can bring it in a nice, like, presented fashion. And then after the individual has it, the sales manager, owner of the company, then you could follow up in possibly a week or to 2 weeks. But when you hand deliver it, you can ask the person you deliver it to, when would be the best time for me to follow up? And again, it just shows really that you go above and beyond, that you're professional, that you follow through. So that's another recommendation too.
One of the questions, and if you're not comfortable, I totally understand. How did you find funding to start your business? So if you're comfortable answering that, you can. If not, we can move on.
I can answer that question. So for me, I actually started with real estate. And when I was in college, I worked at the Ritz-Carlton, and I had a great experience there. I have a background in hospitality. I was there for about a decade. And while I was doing that, I also was a real estate agent. So I started in real estate about, well, almost a, like actually right after during I learned I was an assistant to a realtor, and then I got my license in 2004 and just really jumped right in. And so I really was able to do very well in that industry, and that allowed me to open up my business in 2009. And then we were fully operational in 2010. But I used those funds to open my business without any loans. So I've been a licensed realtor for 16 years, and I'm very grateful, especially now considering the whole COVID experience, because I own a spa, Purely You Spa, and so during the pandemic, we actually were forced to close, like a lot of other places, salons and spas and everything, and gyms were forced to close. So I was just so thankful and grateful that I have other services, skills that I was able to do during that time. And that's another thing that I would recommend to the students is just really have several skills, because you never know when you would need it. I never thought that I would be doing that again. And so I'm just really appreciative, and I would highly encourage you to to develop your skills in different areas.
Move on to the next question. During these difficult times, it's been hard to network with others and find internships. What advice do you have for, this is from Amber.
Can you take that?
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah, during these difficult times, it's been hard for students to network and find internships. So what advice do you have for our students?
Well, I guess to answer that question, Kara, yes, it's been very hard. A lot of places have been shut down due to COVID, a lot of different restrictions where they're not allowing, internships, external, non-employees to their facilities. So that's been a challenge. Again, it goes back to the relationship, piece that I had mentioned earlier, and utilizing the resources and the staff at the Career Development Center that might have relationships that can reach out to companies you might be interested in an internship to see if they're even accepting it. It's very unprecedented times, and normally we wouldn't be going through a situation where a lot of offices are not either open or accepting internships or non-employees. So really, from the student perspective, is utilizing, again, the resources such as the Career Development Center, as well as any external relationships that they might have through family, friends, or even university relationships.
Again, echo Andrew about the relationship piece. That's really key. I think no matter what you do, is having those relationships that you could reach out to and say, this is kind of what I'm looking for. The other piece, our HR manager received this week that I thought was really clever. Someone emailed her an introductory video, and they said, I will be there at this time, and I'm really looking for an internship. And they're a marketing person, and said, hey, I could help with social media posts. I see this on your social media page. This is what I could do. I can help with this. I can help with that. And that doesn't require for me to be in the office. And we were like, man, that's
awesome.
That's awesome, right? It's out of the box. It's different. And so I think that's kind of where we're at now. What can you do that stands out to be able to find those internships? The current intern we have here, his mom knows one of our guys and said, hey, he's looking for something, but it's been hard. Can you guys help us out? And we figured something out, and he's been here for 2 or 3 months now, working 1 day a week. So there are, if you reach out to those people, they'll reach out and reach out to their network. And now you just multiplied your network by, however many.
One thing I wanted to mention too is we do have an Eagle mentorship program that pairs alumni and students. So that's another great opportunity for our students to meet these alums and maybe have some of these conversations like Liz is talking about and building these relationships. So feel free to let me know if you have any questions on that. I'd be happy to provide more information, both for our alums on the panel, but also for our students. It's a great way to connect you all. And kind of going off of that, Denise also asked, how can informational interviews help in this situation?
Informational interviews, you mean like to the company that you're interested in?
Yeah, this, instead of maybe being able to have an internship with you, do you offer informational interviews? Would you be willing to sit down with a student and answer their list of questions like you were mentioning earlier?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We actually, I've had several interns here at the spa from FGCU, and I've been able to help a lot of individuals grow in their life and journey, whether they're in this industry or not. So I'd be more than happy anytime to coordinate that. I love helping, and that's one of my passions in life, is to help. So anytime.
I echo that. You know, anytime that any fellow Eagle, you know, whether current student or alumni needs help, you know, I'm willing to assist, build those. You know, again, it's building those relationships and helping answering any questions, you know, that they might have. So I'm more than willing to assist as well.
Same here.
Awesome. Victor had another great question in the chat. He asked, in your opinion, what are the benefits of working for a small business in Florida as opposed to a large corporation?
Well, I will answer that one right off the bat because I cover that base from, you know, from the whole gamut there. I started in corporate America, and then now being in small business, it's a complete 180. You know, I think it was a great learning experience going into corporate America, seeing the big picture, seeing how big business was, being, you know, involved in such a big scale, you know, again, pharmaceuticals, you know, big scale, big money making business, learning the ins and outs by being a sales rep and in sales training and, you know, volunteering in a lot of different committees, learning the business, which then correlated and helped us, you know, move the current position, you know, by taking on those initiatives in my corporate life, you know, to the small business. You know, again, it's a completely different than what I'm used to, you know, from an unlimited budget, you know, in corporate America to now really watching the pennies and, you know, determining, is this really necessary? But I wouldn't change it for the world. You know, the best part about working in a small business, you know, is, again, the freedom to work, you know, wherever, whenever, and not when I mean whenever, you know, you got to put in what you want to get out of it. If you work 20 hours, that's the output you're going to get. If you work 60 hours, that's going to be the output you get out. So, you know, it might sound like, you know, good and dandy, but, you know, I find myself working more hours in a small business than I did working in corporate America. And did he have a component of something about Southwest Florida in there too, Kara, or?
He did. He did. A small business in Southwest Florida specifically.
Okay. Well, you can't beat the, you know, Southwest Florida, you know, no matter whether it's Liz, Jen, or myself, you can't beat the weather. You know, being outside, you know, as much as I drive, you know, I couldn't imagine doing my job in upstate, you know, Minnesota in the snow in the wintertime and wearing, you know, bundles of clothes. I would absolutely hate life. So having a small business in Southwest Florida in the weather, you know, is definitely an advantage. You know, and there's also disadvantages as well. But, you know, this is home.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I love about owning a small business is that it's weird what they consider a small business. So we have 250 employees, and that's still considered a small business. So relatively speaking, right, we're large for the area, but small business still. What I love about it is the challenges. There's something different every day. And when you're in a small business, you have to wear more than one hat. Even our project managers, sometimes they have to step up and help us out with our superintendents or help us out with different things. So I noticed that in a small business, you have more of that, do whatever it takes kind of attitude, and people willing to step in and do jobs that are not part of their normal job description. And that's one of the things that I love the most about small businesses.
Jennifer, did you have anything to add?
Well, I think it really depends because there are a lot of corporations, like big businesses, that are amazing. For instance, Arthrex is a phenomenal company and they treat their employees amazingly. Um, but with being a small business also, I think that there are benefits to both, and then also there is there's just so many different ways to look at it, and it really just depends on the individual and their personality and what's important to them, because with a small business you can really create big change quickly. So that's one of the things that I've noticed, because I did start with a corporate background as well, and sometimes it takes a while to create big change with a large company because there's different steps. So you have to talk to this one and then this one and this one, and then you can't just make a decision and have it done. So that's one of the things that I love the most is I want to make a decision and just make it happen. And so it's pretty efficient as far as my business is concerned, and I'm sure a lot of other small businesses as well.
Are there any other questions from the audience? Is that it? Are there any final words from you, Mary?
For me?
Or from career development? Anyone have any?
Well, I think that was great. Thank you, Liz, Andrew, and Jennifer. We just loved all your information. We learned a lot today. We had lots of students on listening, so I think they're going away with a wealth of information. We thank you for your time this afternoon. Career Development Services, I put the website on. I also put the alumni website on, and it looks like one of your students put a link on as well. So students can go ahead and see the resources that we both have available to our students to be able to reach out to local employers that are helping our students. So I'd like to thank you all for being here. Thank you, Kara, for all you did with the Alumni Association and all of the employers. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you again real soon.
Go Eagles.
Good luck, everyone. Go Eagles.
All right, go Eagles. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.